An applique design is a great way to save yourself a lot of time because the fabric is placed instead of you waiting for the whole entire design to stitch. Now, in your collection, there is, I'm going to do stitch design number 31, and it's noted that it's an applique design by two things. There's a little chart at the beginning that references these two symbols where we're going to add some fabric in and later trim it down to the desired size. So we'll do those in between 1 and 2, and then trimming between 5 and 6. So design number 31, we'll go ahead and start by picking from our built-in folders. 31 and down 1, touch OK. Now, one thing I did notice is that this design does fit into an optional hoop, the size 120 by 120. It's a great hoop size. It's about 5 by 5, and it is not a bad option as your next hoop to purchase. So I am actually going to use it. If I wasn't using this hoop, what I would need to do is go to the hoop and tell it I was using my regular 240 by 150 hoop that comes with the machine. But since we are okay on this, we're going to go ahead and exit out, attach the hoop to the machine. It's got 6 colors, and the first color is going to just be a placement for my applique fabric. So you just want, it can almost be just about any color you want to stitch with, but it's going to sew a placement line, just a generic line all the way around, so I will know if the fabric I've picked, which is this one, is actually going to be big enough. I'm going to actually see. I might be actually needing to get a little bit bigger piece of fabric, but we'll see. So it's just going to stitch one single line, which is all it needs. I think I'm going to be really close here. So I'm going to just lift up the presser foot and stitch, okay? Oh, yes. And I can see that my fabric is completely covering up the lines that it's stitched. I'm just barely. So that's actually perfect. So we're just going to go ahead and start again. So as this stitches, it's going to stitch around a second time. And again, you might want to start to match the fabric or match the color that you're going to do with the actual satin stitches all the way around. But actually not yet, because in looking at this, the next color, color number 3, is actually the middle little middles here. So, and you'll notice it'll go around 2 times because when we go to trim it really close with those curved scissors, it wants to make sure that those stitches don't pull away. If they do for any reason, it's really okay. Once you get it back on the machine, that satin stitch will really kind of come down and tack it in place. One thing that we do notice, usually it's after it does this tack down, is when you trim. But because there's some extra detail stitched, it's going to stitch those first, and then we're going to trim and then stitch that final satin stitch at the very end. Just watch where those little pictures of scissors are for your actual design. And you know what? I might just go ahead and continue stitching with the color I've got on. Might even just make this all one color just for time. And I love the way these little guys stitch. So it'll be kind of fun to see. So you can see we're all the way down to color number 6 of our applique, and now it's time to trim. So I want to show you just some quick little tips on trimming your applique. And then also I did a quick little video, like look at all these little segments. Like what if you wanted just this little cluster? That's so cute. How to go back and forth with the little color changes. You can go plus minus any of the colors you want. So if we wanted just that little middle part, that was number 3 we did. And we could go back to, for example, color number 5, 4, 3, and then stitch out just those little bit. The next line around here was also a great little middle where we could put a letter in the middle of it. We could do just the flower part, and of course we could just skip everything in the middle and just do the applique. So I love the fact that you can jump around. Check out this link to this video here where you can go ahead and see how we did that. Oh, and one more thing. I did it again. I pushed that arrow forward to go forward, and I wanted to push the picture of the spool. Well, here's what I did is I actually just shifted my design to the right. So I'm going to touch the arrow back one time. There we go. Now I'm back into position. Woo! Almost didn't catch that. Okay, so for trimming an applique design, just go ahead and hold it in your lap. And what you want to do is take your curved embroidery scissors that are, and kind of pull up on the fabric and bring your scissors right up to those threads. Don't be shy. Get those nice and close. Even if you happen to clip one of those purple threads, actually that's really hard actually to do, but that's how close I want you to trim. If you don't trim that close for an embroidery applique, as this goes to stitch again, with the little satin stitch, there'll be little parts of the fabric sticking out the side, and that's even worse. So you want to just take your time, trim all the way around, and then all we need to do is put this back on the machine. Yes, the machine knows where we are. We have not disturbed the location of this design, other than what I did earlier. But yes, well, that's all fixed. It knows, so you can always take the hoop off at any time, do trimming, and then put it back on, and it'll pick up right where you left off. So see how close I was able to trim right up to that line? That's what you're looking for a perfect applique trim. Slide the hoop back on the machine, and we'll go ahead. Now we need to get back to color 6. There we go. And lower the presser foot, push start, and we're off and running. So usually it's going to go around this edge a couple times, either with a straight stitch and then later with maybe a little zigzag, so it really covers up all the edges. Oh, it's going to look so pretty. I'll meet you on the other end where we will show the final result. Look at that pretty applique. This is what I'm talking about. How quick that will sew out when you apply fabric behind your design and let it go around the raw edges. It is just a pretty way to do embroidery.